Were you guys brainstorming maps at the tournament?
We did. It was, we went into a pub and like a bunch of nerds and brainstormed maps. It was awesome.
That's where ideas flow, right? Is a pub, right?
Exactly. Oh yeah. This one. So yeah, we might have been drunk when we came up with this one.
Nice. I mean, it's pretty crazy. When you told me about it and I went and looked at it, I'm like, oh wow, this is some interesting play style. I hope we see it. I hope we see it in Winter Team Championship, because I could see people banning it, just because it's so unique.
And like a lot of times I hear people like being upset by, oh, my map has been banned and whatever. Like because we do bring a lot of people. Like we try to get the community involved as much as possible. But I don't think they should take it like in a bad way, because people will ban what they are afraid of and what they don't feel confident in, rather than what is like, it doesn't say anything about the quality of the map. So yeah, it's fine.
and Bidderlyn, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just wanted to set this up for the audience here, so this is a 3v3 map. There's a 2v2 version as well. But a team start or team 1, player 1, team 1, player 2, team 1, player 3, and then the other team starts on this side, correct?
Correct, exactly correct. So it's basically, if you play 3v3, it should be 3 1v1s, and it works for 2v2 and 3v3. And the idea is it's 1v1v1, and I actually think the pro levels will not ban it, even though it's unique, because I think pro players will love the idea of playing 1v1 in a team tournament, because many of these pros, they play 1v1 like regularly, so they want to kind of bring out what they're used to into the team tournament, which is this map. But there are neat strats and like unique strats you can make it to make it less 1v1. Like one can maybe think about a way to get involved early with his teammate and try to do something crazy. No, I'm not. I am not trying to reveal strats, but
hey, if you want to discuss, I mean, I'm gonna add my own strats if you're not gonna fill in any.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you brought a good point there. I feel like this map, just from straight looking at it, since it's 1v1 favored, if like those strong players that are strong in 1v1s, this might be a map that's really, really fits them well. So I mean, they could potentially win, each one. But I think teams that maybe have, like a Lucifer, Vortex, and Mista, or any brothers, right? Puppy Paw, Wham, there's a little chemistry there where maybe this map might not be ideal, because, they don't get to use that teamwork right away. They have to fight a 1v1 first, maybe survive before that team play, So this kind of rewards a little bit of individual play versus team play. But I do see some strats where, hey, you try to cut this player right here cuts through this side, and this player cuts through this side, and they try to open it up so that way it can become like a 2v1 or something like that. And that's the scary thing. If, would say, a player here, they win their side, well, now they're going to be chopping through, through to help their opponent.
When I made this map, I had like these dream scenarios of like two different teams winning different fronts, and it's like a world war kind of type of you win here, I win here.
Yeah.
But obviously it's gonna pan out a little bit differently. Like players will kind of combine at some stage, and it will become like, I think the map becomes more and more standard the longer the game gets, because I think that it's not a question of whether the chops will happen, because it will. It's like, what's the timing you are aiming for?
Yep.
And it's an interesting question, and I guess the pros will find out better than I can.
What's kind of interesting too, I guess, like even if like, let's say yellow and this blue color, they chop through, well, now you open up, for the opponent to get through too. It's kind of through their town center area, but I mean, now, it doesn't necessarily become a 2v1. Now it could potentially become a 2v2 situation,
Right. And you might think like you could chop through, and you might think, oh yeah, I made the 2v1, but the other guys also chop through at the same time.
Oh yeah, and that too, yeah.
You attack from this angle, and they attack from that, and it's kind of like, it can make for a funny situation. Like also just completely meta games of 1v1v1, and like everyone just bashing through. And I think it's going to be fun to see this map plays differently every time, or maybe players will just establish one way to play this map, and like I can't wait to see what players do with this map, because I think this one is definitely different. So yeah, let's wait.
Do you
And
think?
again, we were drunk when we came up with this idea. So
I think
just
I'm
bear-
excited for it when I saw it. I'm like, oh wow, I hope to see this. I'm really curious to see what people come up with. Do you think people will use this this backwood much? Maybe just in the beginning and then transition over to the main
they
one.
kind of have to in the beginning,
Yep.
because it's kind of safe, and you don't want to send your villager all the way out and maybe get harassed. So I think just doing both is something that's going to happen most of the time. But I can definitely see people skipping the backwood and just let's go chop, and it might happen.
Now, is there any trade on this map or no?
Yeah, there is, because you can make your trades and the teammate can make his trade. So we didn't.
Between players, right?
Yeah, you have
I
to
forgot
chop,
about that.
but, that's part of the point.
Yep. So once you chop it, you can set up trade. Now, do you think there's a chance where they'll just create this wall around here and then becomes like an hour game, or do you think this will be a quick game?
Any map, even Dry Arabia, can be walled and
Yep.
be 1 hour game. It happens, and we are limited with this square structure. Like, we have to work with what we got. This can happen in any map, but I think it won't happen as much, because even if you wall like just straight off the bat in this game, the thing is, I think maps with wood, and maybe it's something controversial I'm saying, but the more wood you have, like the more impasses with wood, the harder it is to wall, because people can just chop the wood and get around your wall. So I think this map is actually harder to wall than Arabia. That's my opinion. Maybe it's controversial, but yeah, I think like establishing like good walls is harder here, because you always have to take care that people don't chop over. Yeah.
Do you know how long it would take for an opponent to, for them to chop through the woods? Is it like the 15-minute mark? Do you think it's at the 20?
Yeah, exactly, 15 minutes.
You think about 15 minutes?
Less, like 12 to 15, that's the normal time.
That seems about like the perfect amount of time too. It's not too late in the game. It's not 45 minutes in where you finally break through. 15 minutes is kind of like when, maybe opponents are starting to hit age 3 or building that army.
That's the idea. Like, I picked like the thickness around I wanted them to be around Castle Age, like approaching Castle Age.
Yep.
That's why I picked like this amount of thickness in the woods. But because it's a tournament, you have to be a little bit more conservative about how you do stuff. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to approach things there is no such thing as a good map and a bad map, in my opinion. Like, obviously, some can be said they're objectively this or that, but it depends on the situation. So, like, for a tournament, I didn't go for this crazy wood line that gets thinner.
Yeah.
It's a tournament, but if I was making it for a custom game, I would make it. So, yeah, the map has to fit the scenario you put it for. It cannot just be whatever you like.